Hello, and welcome to Story Recap. For this episode, let's talk about what happened in Mission Majnu. So big time spoilers ahead. Watch out. Get ready for an action-packed thrill ride as we dive into the world of espionage and follow the incredible journey of Amandeep Singh, a highly skilled spy for the Indian Intelligence Service, RAW. Set in the 1970s, the tension between India and Pakistan is at an all-time high, with Pakistan having lost the war to India for the third time in a row. With revenge on their minds, Pakistan has now turned to nuclear weapons as their trump card to shift the balance of power. In the midst of all this, we meet Amandeep, a man with a mission. On the outside, he appears to be a simple tailor living in Rawalpindi, Pakistan under the name Tariq. But on the inside, he is a highly trained spy for RAW. After praying at a mosque, Amandeep manages to convince one of the townsmen to get him a job at Manan's tailor house, which frequently receives orders from the army. This provides him with an opportunity to get closer to the military and further his mission. Amandeep is determined to succeed, but he is not immune to love. While trying to impress Manan, he catches a glimpse of a beautiful girl across the street named Nasreen. She is the niece of Manan. Despite being blind from birth, Nasreen captures Amandeep's heart, and the two quickly fall in love. Her father initially opposes their marriage due to Amandeep's lack of education, but after Manan vouches for him, he gives them his blessing, and the couple gets married quickly. As Amandeep and Nasreen's love blossoms, the world around them spirals out of control. India successfully tests a nuclear bomb for the first time, sending shockwaves through Pakistan. The Pakistani Prime Minister and IC agree to start their own nuclear program, bringing in a nuclear scientist named Mr. A.Q. Khan from Holland, along with his wife and two kids, to spearhead the project. Together, they begin working on Pakistan's top-secret project, Project 706. Pakistan plays both sides of the fence, pointing fingers at India for making a weapon of mass destruction while secretly working on their own illegal nuclear weapon. They finally succeed at stopping India from testing nuclear weapons any further after pleading their case in front of world leaders at a UN meeting. Meanwhile, back in Rawalpindi, Nasreen is pregnant, and Amandeep's anxiety is at an all-time high. He worries that he may end up like his traitorous father, who sold important files to Pakistan. Amandeep's childhood was tough, with constant insults and ridicule due to his father's mistake, and he never got a chance to have a normal life. However, his life changed when he was taken under R.N. Kao, the chief of RAW, and trained to become one of India's top spies. Later on, Kao informs the Indian Prime Minister that Pakistan is making a nuclear weapon and convinces her that they should expose Pakistan in front of the world. But instead of going after them with weapons, he suggests that they gather intelligence to build a stronger case against Pakistan. The Prime Minister agrees, and Kao is given permission to proceed with the mission. The night is dark as Amandeep steps out of his home and sets out on a mission of utmost importance. He makes his way to a shop, where he contacts an office in New Delhi and is assigned a top-secret mission to find the location of a nuclear facility in Pakistan, under the codename Mission Majnu. However, his liaison, Sharma, doesn't seem to trust him due to his family's history of treason, and he warns Kao that Amandeep might not be trustworthy. Despite this, Kao sees potential in Amandeep and believes he's the best India has to offer. Amandeep then meets with Aslam, another agent living in Pakistan, to gather the necessary resources for the mission. Aslam warns him that his wife might become an obstacle, but Amandeep remains determined to see the mission through. However, Sharma calls and asks Aslam to keep an eye on Amandeep, and to take him out if anything goes wrong. Days later, Amandeep is tasked with delivering a uniform to a brigadier, and along the way, he removes two buttons from it so he can be called back to fix them. This clever tactic grants him access to the army's office, where he has a conversation with one of the highest-ranking officials. Pretending to be a concerned citizen of Pakistan who has a deep hatred for India, he manages to extract valuable information from the official. Amandeep reports his findings to Sharma, who is unimpressed and demands that Amandeep finds the actual location of the nuclear plant. Amandeep then embarks on a journey to gather more information, visiting local bookstores and the library to learn everything he can about Pakistan's nuclear projects. However, every move he makes is being closely watched by Aslam, who is reporting everything to Sharma, including the fact that Amandeep's wife is expecting a baby. Just as Amandeep is about to give up, he discovers a crucial piece of information. If a scientist from abroad comes to Pakistan, they'll need something fancy for their home, including a toilet that fits European standards. He manages to track down the elusive toilet in a shop and gets the address of the family who ordered it. Amandeep then heads to the scientist's residence, but finds the house empty. Instead, he strikes up a conversation with the neighbor, a lovely old woman, and learns useful information about the scientist's family, including his last name, Khan. Later, Amandeep talks with Gulu, the neighbor's grandson, in a park about the scientist's children and learns which school they attend. However, back in India, a new government comes into power and orders a halt to all intelligence operations in Pakistan, preferring peaceful solutions instead. The new PM believes that the intelligence is under the opposing party rule and wants to avoid them at all costs. He also believes that India and Pakistan should be good neighbors and good allies. Kao orders Sharma to continue the mission under the radar, and to avoid suspicion. He resigns. Undeterred, Amandeep heads to the school where the scientist's children go to and bribes the guard to let him into the file storage room. There, he finds a picture of the scientist and his wife from the admission records. He learns that the scientist's name is A.Q. Khan. However, when Amandeep calls Sharma to report his findings, he's met with disappointment. Sharma doesn't approve of the way Amandeep is collecting information and orders him to leave the task force immediately. The tension in the air is palpable as Amandeep steps out of the shop and comes face to face with Nasreen's furious father. He accuses Amandeep of having an affair with another woman, but little did he know that Amandeep was actually on a top-secret mission. Earlier that day, Nasreen's father had seen Amandeep talking to Gulu and suspected that he was his son. Aslam, who is watching from the shadows, thought that their mission was compromised and made a foolish decision to eliminate Nasreen's father. But Amandeep is not one to take such rash actions lightly. After the funeral, he confronts Aslam and hit him multiple times for his impulsive behavior. Just when things seemed to be spiraling out of control, Rahman, another field agent who lived in Pakistan, steps in to mediate. He offers to form a team of 3 and work together with Amandeep to complete their mission. Rahman has made reports on Khan years ago, but no one had taken them seriously. The situation in Pakistan is about to get even more complicated as a rebel force led by General Zia had overthrown the current prime minister on charges of corruption and money embezzlement. And to make matters worse, Israel fears that Pakistan had made significant progress on their nuclear program and is now planning to destroy their base, which they assumed is in Quetta, with an aerial strike. General Zia, however, surprises everyone by reaching out to the Indian Prime Minister and expressing his desire for them to be good friends and good neighbors. Meanwhile, Manan's shop is being outcompeted by another tailor who had secured orders from the military. Amandeep suspects that something fishy is going on and investigates the new tailor shop owner. He discovers that the army will personally send a vehicle to pick up the jackets made from a new material, but he couldn't figure out what they are making and where they are taking them. Amandeep, Rahman, and Aslam put their heads together and comes up with an excellent plan to uncover the truth. First, Amandeep heads to the shop and takes down the plate from the army vehicle. They follow the army vehicle in a police car, dressed as police officers, and stops it on the way. Rahman, now disguised as the chief of police, orders Amandeep to check the consignment as they look very suspicious as their car is an army vehicle without a plate number. After Amandeep briefly checks the jackets, Rahman asks the soldiers where they were going, and they tell him that they are heading to Kahuta, near where Khan is residing. This confirms Amandeep's theory, and the team heads to Kahuta to gather more information. Amandeep discovers that there is a factory on the other side of the hill and talks to a tea maker in a local tea shop who tells him about a stinking smell emanating from the factory. Amandeep and Aslam heads to the factory to investigate it firsthand, but when they try to get a closer look, they get caught by a soldier. The soldier searches them thoroughly, but just as he is about to find Amandeep's mini camera hidden in his boots, Amandeep sees a baby goat and told the soldier that they were out searching for it. They manage to escape, and Amandeep reports their findings to Sharma, but he is angry that Amandeep is still involved in the mission even after being relieved of his duties. Then, Amandeep warns Sharma that there is no nuclear plant in Quetta and that if the Pakistanis succeed in their project, it would doom India, as Pakistan will make their first test as soon as Quetta is hit. Sharma asks them to bring physical evidence within the next 48 hours as Israel would destroy Quetta in that time. Amandeep knows what he had to do. He decides to head to the plant in Kahuta to gather as much intel as he can and sacrifice himself for his country, India. As part of his plan, Amandeep makes a passport for his wife, Nasreen, and writes a letter for her in case their plan fails. He knows that this mission could also endanger her life, but he is willing to take the risk to stop Pakistan's nuclear program. One day, Nasreen becomes worried as she can't feel her baby move and heads to the hospital with Amandeep. In the hospital, Amandeep overhears doctors talking about radiation and how it affects the body. This gives him a brilliant idea to check for any signs of radiation in Kahuta, where Pakistan's nuclear program is located. Now he is no longer required to sacrifice himself, at least not at this level. With the help of Rahman and Aslam, Amandeep heads to a barbershop and waits for a person who works there to get a haircut. After a distraction created by Raman and Aslam, he takes a few strands of hair to check for radiation. After deciding to deliver the samples to India, the Amandeep makes his way to the train station with a glimmer of hope in his eyes. He is surprised by the sight of individuals steadfastly refusing to remove their turbans, causing him to contemplate his predicament. In a stroke of sheer brilliance, he devises a cunning plan to overcome this hurdle. He manages to stumble upon a fortuitous opportunity when he encounters a man who bears an uncanny resemblance to him. Seizing the moment, he incapacitates the look-alike in a restroom and pilfers his passport. Donning a turban, he confidently strides towards the security checkpoint, where he is met with a request to remove his headwear. Using his wit and quick thinking, he appeals to a group of Sikh men standing nearby, claiming that the request to remove his turban is tantamount to asking them to remove theirs, which is highly offensive. This clever ruse allows him to proceed through security and board the train without further incident. Once aboard the train, Amandeep takes precautions to ensure the success of his mission. He discreetly places the hair sample in the luggage of an unsuspecting fellow traveler, effectively concealing his true intentions. With a sense of satisfaction, he settles into his seat, ready to embark on the next phase of his journey. Pandemonium erupts at the station as the unconscious man is discovered in the bathroom. The authorities are quickly alerted, and soldiers begin combing through the train in search of the imposter. With his heart racing and adrenaline pumping, Amandeep realizes that his true identity has been exposed and he must act quickly to evade capture. Refusing to go down without a fight, Amandeep battles his way through the train, unleashing a flurry of blows that send soldiers flying. However, his bravery comes at a cost, as he sustains a gunshot wound in the process. Undeterred, Amandeep continues his daring escape, clambering onto the roof of the speeding train. As he runs along the top of the train, soldiers pursue him relentlessly, forcing him to fight off wave after wave of attackers. With his options dwindling, Amandeep knows that he must make a bold move if he hopes to escape with his life. As the train approaches a bridge, he makes a split-second decision and leaps off the roof, hurtling towards the water below. As he plunges into the depths, he feels a mix of fear and exhilaration. Finally, he emerges out of the water, gasping for air. Looking back at the train, he sees the soldiers searching in vain for any sign of him. With a sense of relief and satisfaction, Amandeep knows that he has managed to evade capture once again, and he sets off towards his next destination with renewed determination. With just 12 hours remaining before the Israel Air Force bombs Quetta, Amandeep meets the team in a town and makes a call to Sharma from a hospital. He tells Sharma the location of the sample and asks him to run radiologic tests on it. The result shows that the samples were exposed to radioactive substances at a high rate. Just before Quetta is hit, Raw calls and tells the Israelis that the plant is in Quetta and asks them to call off their mission. Later, Sharma calls Amandeep and tells him that they have successfully stopped them in time. He then apologizes for his behavior around him and tells him that he is a true patriot and an even greater soldier. After hearing about Pakistan's nuclear program, the Indian PM calls General Zia and orders him to immediately shut down the project in Quetta. He tells him that Pakistan can't be trusted and if they refuse, India will punish them for it. General Zia orders Khan and his team to shut down the nuclear facility once and for all. He also orders to find any raw agent and to kill them at sight in just 24 hours. Amandeep now rushes his wife to go to Dubai, telling her that he has found a new job there and wants her to come with him to start a new life. The IC now manages to gain access to all phone calls made to India in the last 2 weeks. They have narrowed it down to the calls made between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. from offices and shops to Delhi. Eventually, they identify 21 targets and order their elimination. The tension builds as Amandeep and his wife prepare to say goodbye to their families before fleeing the country. As the tension builds, the IC launches a deadly attack on Aslam's home, and a fierce gunfight ensues. Despite being outnumbered, Aslam puts up a valiant fight and eliminates several of his attackers. However, his luck runs out, and he is ultimately killed while trying to make a call for help. The IC then proceeds to systematically eliminate each of their targets, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. That same night, Raman visits Aslam's home only to discover that his friend and ally has been brutally murdered. Filled with grief and outrage, he rushes to Amandeep's location, urging him to leave Nasreen and flee with him across the border. However, Amandeep refuses to abandon his loved ones and opts to take Nasreen with him to Dubai. As they rush to the airport, they are pursued relentlessly by the IC. As Raman enjoys his last moments watching his family picture, the IC closes in on him, determined to put an end to him once and for all. However, Raman proves to be more than just a worthy adversary. He has planned for this moment and had set up a trap that would ensure the agent's destruction. With nerves of steel, Rahman ignites a fire on the kerosene he had cleverly leaked from his car, causing a massive explosion that engulfs the surrounding area. The blast is so massive that it kills every single one of the IC operatives who were pursuing him, as well as Rahman himself. Back in the airport, Amandeep and Nasreen has successfully avoided the IC until they get separated and the operatives goes after her. Amandeep takes a bold stand, diverting their attention and allowing Nasreen to board the plane safely. In the ensuing chaos, Amandeep fights off the soldiers, but he is ultimately captured and cornered. As he watches Nasreen's plane take off, he finds solace in the knowledge that she is safe. With a sense of peace, he makes his last stand, and the IC puts an end to him once and for all. The movie ends as Nasreen arrives in Dubai, where she is greeted by Kao, who reads her a letter written by Amandeep before his death. In the letter, Amandeep reveals his true identity and professes his love for her, providing closure and comfort in her time of grief. If you want interesting movie recaps like these, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.